over $200,000 on just one ad set. What's poppin', people? It's your boy, the beast of Ecom, back with another video, dropping nothing but you already know, value bombs. So in today's video, I'm going to show you a few Facebook ad sets that have generated over 6 figures just on ad sets alone. Now, all of these ad sets were using something called lookalike audiences, which I'm pretty familiar. Most of you guys watching this video know what they are. Lookalike audiences are key to scaling your Facebook ads and drop shipping products to the moon. So in this video, what I'm going to share with you guys is what types of lookalike audiences you need to be creating, how to structure them, and give you some benchmarks as well on when exactly you should start to create these lookalike audiences. If you're new to the channel, then make sure, of course, you like, comment, and make sure you smash that subscribe button. And of course, be sure to hit the notification bell as well so that you stay up to date with all of my latest content. Make sure you watch all of the video. Don't skip any of it. So let's quit the talking. Let's jump straight into the computer and let's start learning. Okay, so let's jump straight into this. And you can see here on Facebook in the ads manager, I've blocked out some information here, but you can see that these top 3 ad sets have generated over 100K just like on ad sets. So not campaign level, we're talking actual ad sets. And if we just really quickly just do the maths, 164 times about 1.28, it fluctuates because obviously this is in pounds, equals $209,000. So obviously, nevertheless, they are still great. Now, again, I'm going to blur out some of this information depending on how much you can actually see here. But the makeup of these ads, the top ones that have generated the most amount of money, are all either lookalike audiences or they're worldwide, no targeting whatsoever. So this one here is a worldwide targeting. This one here is worldwide. This one here is worldwide. And the rest of them are just all they're all lookalike audiences. So lookalike audiences are absolutely key. If we just filter on these ones, lookalike audiences are absolutely key to helping you scale to the moon with your dropshipping products and with your Facebook ads. So I'm going to give you some benchmarks and show you exactly how you can use, or how I use, lookalike audiences so you can scale up when you're scaling something that is working, right? So how and when to use lookalike audiences to scale your Facebook adverts. Now, if you don't, I'm assuming everyone who follows my channel knows what a lookalike audience is. But if you're completely new and don't know what it is, then a lookalike audience is an audience of people that are in Facebook's eyes. I have to say this because sometimes they don't work as great, but are similar to the custom audience that you are creating it from. So you need to create a custom audience, okay? And then from your custom audience, then of course you create your lookalike audiences. Now, with that being said, what type of lookalike audiences can you create? And you can create so many different kinds of lookalike audiences that the combinations and audiences that you can create are pretty much infinite when you start to talk about timeframes. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in the video. I'm going to talk about when you should exactly create these lookalike audiences as well later in the video. So make sure you keep watching. So here are some of the ones that you can create. So of course, they're generally going to be built up over time in this pretty much in this order, because obviously 75% is going to be the first and then 95%. But 75% of video viewed if you're using a video, 95% of video viewed, people who have viewed content, people who have added to cart, people who have initiated checkout, people who have purchased the product, page engagers, niche specific ones, so everyone who's viewed content, added to cart, purchased of a specific niche, or niche, however you want to say it, only if you're using something like Pixel Perfect or another app. Now, a lot of people always ask me how can they create these, and what you need to do is have like some sort of app installed. Pixel Perfect works great, and so does Trackify. But what you can do is you can kind of tag products. So you can see on this website here, they've used the content category field to put this product here as a toy. Now, everyone, they may have a toys collection on their product, and what they can then do is create a custom audience for everyone who has viewed a toy product, everyone who has added to cart a toy product, or everyone who has purchased a toy product. So not just one specific product, but a whole bunch of products, which then when you create those custom audiences and turn them into lookalike audiences, they can be very, very powerful, okay? So back to this, sorry. So view content, added to cart, initiate checkout, purchased, initiate page engages, niche specific, People who have spent time on your website as well, so you can go 25%, 10% or 5%, Instagram engagers, and kind of like your email list as well. So a ton of different creative audience, lookalike audiences that you can create. Now, the time frames for custom audiences. Now, the more data that your custom audience has, of course, the better. And I personally like to start my time frames at 180 days, just so Facebook can collect as much data as they possibly can. And I like to set these up right from even launching the advert, so that they're building data as soon as we press live on the campaign. Now, however, once you've kind of fatigued these, you can create different time frames, okay? And you can create 90 days, 30 days, 7 days. I generally go for 30 days once things have, my 180 days ones are kind of fatigued. I generally go down to 30 days. Now, you can recreate lookalike audiences based on these time frames to give you more audiences to target. However, with that being said, be wary of overlap and try to avoid it as much as possible, because if you're running 180 days lookalike audiences for everyone who's viewed the content, and you're running a 30 days of everyone who's viewed the content, the same product, there's going to be a bit of overlap, so Facebook are not big fans of overlap, so try and avoid that. Things you can do to avoid the overlap is excluding the audiences, the ones that are similar, only having one running at a time, or sharing them across into different ad accounts and different business managers. What you don't want to do is try to bid against yourself and create too much overlap, okay? Now, how do you actually structure lookalike audiences? There's loads of different ways that you can structure audiences. It varies from person to person. Everything kind of works, but it just comes down to testing. But I'll show you kind of what I generally do. What I like to do is like to break up my lookalike audiences into two sections. I generally like to separate United States away from all of the other countries that I'm targeting, mainly because they have massive audiences. They're always pretty much going to be 2 million at least minimum, which is a great audience size. So I generally like to go USA and then any other e-packet countries or top speaking countries. So I separate out the two. Now, you can, of course, break down to see which other countries are performing best. So instead of having all of these together, you can create a lookalike audience for everyone who's just in the UK, or a lookalike audience for everyone who's just in Canada, just in Australia, just in Germany. Another thing that you can do as well is you can group countries together as well. So you can say, for example, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, which are all Scandinavian countries. You can create a lookalike audience for all those countries together as well, because they're going to be a lot smaller than UK, Canada, Australia, and Germany, and those countries which will have bigger audiences. Now, however, with that being said, you will need at least 100 of a specific action from that country to be able to create it. If not, Facebook will just pop up and it will just say, it will just be red and say, you haven't got enough people in that audience who have taken that specific action. So you need to collect more data before you can then go ahead and create that lookalike audience. Okay. Now, personally, try to make your audience sizes between 2 to 5 million, no less than 1 million. If you want to scale and if you want to do big numbers, if you've got a winning product, you don't really want to have a lookalike audience of around about 500k. Even with the smallest countries, try and just go from, I'll talk about percentages in a moment in time, but try to make them from 2 to 5%. Remember, USA is always going to be 2 million minimum. So split you can split percentages, will very much vary depending on the country that you're targeting, like I've mentioned. But USA is generally, what I like to do is kind of either 1 to 1 or 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 5 to 4 to 5. So testing out the first 5% first, see how they go, and then try out the other 5 to 10%. Also, recently, what I've had success is with using larger audiences. Facebook very much like larger audiences with the less overlap and stuff like that. So what I've recently been doing is creating 1 to 2%, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10. So you can do it either way. When you create them like this bottom way, they're generally about 4 million in size. So you get a lot bigger audience to play with. But again, it will vary much on the country that you're targeting, because, for example, Australia is a very kind of smaller country in terms of spending online. So you'd have to go from like 1 to 5% and then 5 to 10% to be able to get a minimum of 1 million people inside of that audience. So I hope that makes sense. Now, when to create lookalike audiences. And a lot of people always ask me this question, such as, when should I actually create them? What are the kind of benchmarks to go by? So I'm going to give you some benchmarks to go by. So with my 95% video viewed, these are going to generally be the ones that are created first, because of course they're at the top of the funnel. So everything that's at the top of the funnel, your view content, your added to cart, your video views are going to be built first, because that's where you're going to get the most of the data. And obviously less down, you're going to get less data. So with 95% video viewed, I generally like to wait until I've got at least 1,000 to 2,000 plus views on my custom audience to then go on to create lookalike audiences. When it comes to view content, I'm generally looking at about 500 to 1,500. Now that is very much a large window. However, it depends on how profitable you are on cold audiences. If you're getting very good on cold audiences, don't rush to lookalike audiences straight away, because you just can give Facebook more data to build up that custom audience. Added to cart, generally around about 200 to 500 plus, and then initiate checkout 150 to 500 plus. Purchases generally about 150 to 300 plus on a product. Now I generally like to leave them if I'm doing very, very well on cold audiences, like I mentioned. Now these last 2 bullet points, of course, if the audience size isn't showing, because sometimes that does happen, it just says, it doesn't give you a size. So you're like, hey, Harry, how do I actually know when to create these when I'm not getting any sort of information from Facebook in custom audiences? Well, what you can do is, what I personally do is I'll just look at the campaign data, look at the campaign data as a whole, and then you can make an educated guess off that. So if you've got, if you look at your campaign and you see you've got about 2,000 view contents, then pretty much that there's going to be a little bit of a discrepancy, because Facebook doesn't pick up everything inside of the custom audience for some reason. But if you've got 2,000 view contents, then you're pretty much good to create that lookalike audience. And remember, of course, the more data, the better. Generally, if you can hold out and you're profitable on your cold audiences, then try and hold out and collect more purchases, collect more initiate checkouts, just so that Facebook can work a little bit better, hopefully. Now, of course, one thing I do want to say is that just because you create a 1% doesn't mean that it's going to work as good. It doesn't mean that it's going to work the best. Sometimes I've had ad sets which 8% or 10% are absolutely killing the performance of a 1% or 2%. So it's good to always test as many as you possibly can, because just because it's 1% and Facebook deem it the most close to your custom audience, sometimes that is not the case. So yeah, make sure that you are testing all of those. So with that being said, I hope you got some value. Make sure you, of course, comment down below, #BeastGang. Let me know if you like this video. Again, I do appreciate the feedback. So yeah, drop a comment down below, #BeastGang. Let me know what you learned. Let me know how lookalike audiences are working for you. Let me know how you guys are using lookalike audiences. And yeah, I will be around replying to comments for some time, generally about an hour's time after I launch the videos. So yeah, hit me up, drop a comment down below. You already know what to do. So I hope you got some value from this video. If you did, you know what to do. Make sure, of course, you like, comment, smash that subscribe button, and be sure to hit the notification bell as well. Become a part of the Beast Gang and stay up to date with all of my latest content. Now, if you do want to learn more from me on a personal basis, then make sure you check out Ecom Beast 2.0, my course. And of course, if you are from YouTube or you come from YouTube, use the discount code YouTube100 at the checkout and you'll get $100 off the course. It's as simple as that. Also, a quick reminder, I'm going to be speaking and hosting my own e-commerce event with some other killers in LA next month in August. So if you're interested in that, again, the link for that will be down below. Make sure you check it out. Hit me up on Instagram, drop me a like, drop me a DM, drop me a follow, and we can try and connect on there. And make sure you join the free Facebook mastermind group. I'm in there. Other marketers are in there. We help each other out on a daily basis. The link for that will be down below. So that is it for this video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.